but the senses have a part therein. The devil more easily succeeds in disturbing the spirit, and raising a tumult within it, by means of the senses, with these terrors. Great are the torment and affliction which are then caused in the spirit. At times they exceed all that can be expressed. For when there is a naked contact of spirit with spirit, the horror is intolerable which the evil spirit causes in the good, I mean in the soul, when its tumult reaches it. This is expressed likewise by the bride in the songs, when she says that it has happened thus to her at a time when she wished to descend to interior recollection in order to have fruition of these blessings. She says, "I went down into the garden of nuts to see the apples of the valleys, and if the vine had flourished. I knew not. My soul troubled me because of the chariots." That is, because of the chariots and the noise of Aminadab, which is the devil. At other times it comes to pass that the devil is occasionally able to see certain favors which God is pleased to grant the soul when they are bestowed upon it by the mediation of a good angel. For of those favors which come through a good angel, God habitually allows the enemy to have knowledge, partly so that he may do that which he can against them, according to the measure of justice, and that thus he may not be able to allege with truth that no opportunity is given him for conquering the soul, as the devil said concerning Job. This would be the case if God did not allow a certain equality between the two warriors, namely, the good angel and the bad, when they strive for the soul, so that the victory of either may be of the greater worth, and the soul that is victorious and faithful in temptation may be the more abundantly rewarded. We must observe, therefore, that it is for this reason that in proportion as God is guiding the soul and communing with it, he gives the devil leave to act with it after this manner. When the soul has genuine visions by the instrumentality of the good angel, for it is by this instrumentality that they habitually come, even though Christ reveal himself, for he scarcely ever appears in his actual person. God also gives the wicked angel leave to present to the soul false visions of this very type, and in such a way that the soul which is not cautious may easily be deceived by their outward appearance, as many souls have been. Of this there is a figure in Exodus, where it is said that all the genuine signs that Moses wrought were wrought likewise in appearance by the magicians of Pharaoh. If he brought forth frogs, they brought them forth likewise. If he turned water into blood, they did the same. And not only does the evil one imitate God in this type of bodily vision, but he also imitates and interferes in spiritual communications which come through the instrumentality of an angel, when he succeeds in seeing them, as we say. For, as Job said, he beholds every high thing. These, however, as they are without form or figure, for it is the nature of spirit to have no such thing, he cannot imitate and counterfeit like those others which are presented under some species or figure. And thus, in order to attack the soul, in the same way as that wherein it is being visited, his fearful spirit presents a similar vision in order to attack and destroy spiritual things by spiritual. When this comes to pass, just as the good angel is about to communicate spiritual contemplation to the soul, it is impossible for the soul to shelter itself in the secrecy and hiding place of contemplation with sufficient rapidity not to be observed by the devil. And thus he appears to it, and produces a certain horror and perturbation of spirit, which is at times most distressing to the soul. Sometimes the soul can speedily free itself from him, so that there is no opportunity for the aforementioned horror of the evil spirit to make an impression on it, and it becomes recollected within itself, being favored to this end by the effectual spiritual grace that the good angel then communicates to it. At other times the devil prevails, and encompasses the soul with a perturbation and horror, which is a greater affliction to it than any torment in this life could be. For as this horrible communication passes direct from spirit to spirit, in something like nakedness, and clearly distinguished from all that is corporeal, it is grievous beyond what every sense can feel, and this lasts in the spirit for some time, yet not for long, for otherwise the soul would be driven forth from the flesh by the vehement communication of the other spirit. Afterwards there remains to it the memory thereof, which is sufficient to cause it great affliction. All that we have here described comes to pass in the soul passively, without its doing or undoing anything of itself with respect to it. But in this connection it must be known that when the good angel permits the devil to gain this advantage of assailing the soul with this spiritual horror, he does it to purify the soul, and to prepare it by means of this spiritual vigil for some